Hey guys, I hope your week is going well. In today's video, I'm going to talk about another oil that you guys have been curious about, Tamanu Oil. I touched on this in my Crave Beauty review for you all of their Great Barrier Relief Cream. I love that product and it contains Tamanu Oil, but I still get questions about it. So I thought in today's video I would review what we know about Tamanu Oil for skin and potentially hair. Tamanu oil comes from Calophyllum inophyllum, which is a non-deciduous tree that is indigenous to Central and East Africa, as well as parts of Southeast Asia, the Philippines, Australia, and parts of India. And it is a member of the mangosteen family, actually. The oil from this plant can go by a variety of common names: Alexandrian laurel, beech mahogany, beech calophyllum, dillo, I hope I'm saying that right, kamani, and then the term that we're more familiar with hearing now is the French Polynesian name Tamanu oil. It's been used for hundreds of years in cuisine and traditional medicine. Particular medical conditions for which Tamanu oil has been shown to potentially be promising include ocular burns and wound healing. Tamanu oil is rich in polyphenols, which are compounds that you can find in many oils that are antioxidants. And antioxidants help our skin by scavenging free radicals. Free radicals are things that are generated from environmental stressors like pollution or exposure to ultraviolet radiation. And these free radicals can damage the DNA in our skin cells, create a lot of inflammation, destruction. They're responsible for aging of the skin. Within Tamanu oil, there are two unique polyphenols thought to potentially play a role in improving wound healing, and those include Calophyllum and inophyllum, similar to the plant's species, genus and species name. But there are various other polyphenols within this plant oil. So there are some laboratory-based studies, and by laboratory-based studies, I mean just looking at Tamanu oil in cells in a dish. So not in actual people or not in actual clinical trials, but in these preliminary laboratory-based studies, there is some interesting and compelling findings that suggest Tamanu oil may be a good ingredient for preventing ocular injury. There was a 2007 study that actually showed that Tamanu oil has some anti-UV activity, meaning it's a natural SPF potentially. They found that it has a significant capacity to absorb ultraviolet radiation even at very low concentrations. And in this study, they showed that it demonstrated an SPF, or a sun protective factor, ranging from 18 to 22%. Tamanu oil at 1% in this study was not cytotoxic to the cells of the human conjunctiva, which is part of the eye. And so what the study supported is that perhaps Tamanu oil might protect against oxidative stress and DNA damage and ocular injury that occurs from exposure to UV radiation from the sun, for example. And maybe Tamanu oil might be a unique ingredient to formulate into a sunscreen, for example, for your eyeballs. Wouldn't that be cool? But this is all laboratory-based studies. We need actual studies in people and more studies before we can ever go there. In 2009, there was another similar study in terms of looking at cells in the eye, and this study showed that Tamanu oil actually can help in the healing of burns to the eye. So they incubated cells from the eye in a caustic sodium hydroxide solution, and then after they did that, they bathed the cells in a solution that included Tamanu oil or a control solution with no Tamanu oil. And they showed that a solution of 10% Tamanu oil promoted corneal epithelial regeneration. Not only did Tamanu oil promote corneal epithelial regeneration in the study, but it also reduced the amount of inflammatory mediators, suggesting a profound anti-inflammatory effect. You might postulate that these findings in models of the cells of the eye might extend on to benefits for the skin as well, but we don't really have that research as of yet in terms of benefit to the skin. There's also a small study that suggests that Tamanu oil may have insect repellent-like activity. So maybe it could be a natural bug spray in the future for either people or for pets, for horses and animals, livestock, what have you. As I said, we know that Tamanu oil is abundant in polyphenol compounds and antioxidants. It also contains something called phytosterols, which are compounds that likewise can act as antioxidants. Stigmasterol is a very potent antioxidant. It also has beta cytosterol and delta tocotrienol. Delta tocotrienol is actually a form of vitamin E, and that, as you probably are familiar, is an antioxidant. So compelling that maybe this natural oil is a source of polyphenols, of phytosterols and antimicrobial ingredients, and maybe even a potential SPF or insect repellent. But these are all laboratory-based assays, and we don't have any studies that I can tell you guys about in people looking at Tamanu oil for anti-aging, for skin benefit, for helping acne, for any claims that many manufacturers of Tamanu oil suggest. It's merely a compelling ingredient based on laboratory studies. So how it's going to be helpful to you, if it's going to be helpful to you, if it's going to be irritating or harmful to you, no one can predict. But it does have some compelling compounds within it that may make it a good ingredient in your skincare products. It's just hard to know. When something is so poorly studied, it's hard to know. It has been used in traditional medicine for hundreds of years, but we don't have any studies looking at those outcomes of how things went while people were using this. It's merely just a popular ingredient. So what about using Tamanu oil on your face as a moisturizer? Here's the thing. Oils by themselves as moisturizers don't do a very good job moisturizing the skin because they lack two other essential components of a moisturizer. They lack humectants and they lack occlusives. So they basically are just emollients that can smooth and soften down the skin. So when you apply an oil to your face, it makes your face smooth, have a better luminosity, but it really doesn't help with enhancing skin hydration directly. Instead, you should select a moisturizer that has been formulated with Tamanu oil as well as a variety of other humectants and occlusives. One of the issues with oils is that they're not really reproducible substances, meaning this is the constituents within Tamanu oil are going to vary from batch to batch, from region where the Tamanu oil was obtained, whether it be Australia or the Philippines. There's going to be some variability. Just that's nature. That's nature. There's going to be a lot of variability, and the degree to which each batch has other things in it that might be irritating or problematic, we really don't know. And we don't know what we should be looking for to filter out. So personally, I think that using Tamanu oil to your face just to improve kind of the luminosity and the suppleness, allowing it to sit on the skin for a little bit, and then maybe applying your makeup on over it might make your makeup go on a little bit better because you're starting with a smoother surface. So that's one way, and then you can potentially benefit from the antioxidants and polyphenols in the oil by putting it on the skin first. But I would first, before doing that, I would just do a test patch somewhere like on your on the side of your face, just to make sure that it doesn't irritate you or cause problems. I would do that before putting it all over your face or to a more widespread area. Another way in which oils like Tamanu oil can be helpful is to rub them around your nail cuticles to soften them, particularly if you get hangnails or your cuticles are really dry and you're unhappy with the way they appear. That's really a place where I think oils by themselves are kind of nice because you need something to soften that dry, scaly stuff. Tamanu oil you might also want to use on your hair, to the ends of your hair if you have long hair, because it can kind of help with split ends and with hair breakage. Particularly if you heat style your hair, you use a blow dryer or curling iron, flat iron or a curling wand, Flat iron or a curling wand. Wow. Yeah, if you use one of those, this can help. If you color treat your hair, it also can help to apply a little bit, just a few drops to the shafts of your hair. A situation though where you probably would want to avoid using Tamanu oil, at least by itself on your skin, is in skin conditions that are related to Malassezia. Malassezia is a yeast that lives on everyone's skin but thrives in oily surfaces and really gets a little bit too comfortable if you use a lot of oils on your skin and can cause skin conditions that include seborrheic dermatitis, which is those scaly red patches on the face, also dandruff in the scalp. It can cause a common skin condition on the body that I have a video on called tinea versicolor, and it can cause fungal acne. I have several videos on fungal acne. And to a certain extent, it actually can worsen rosacea, probably, we think, as well. So you may want to pay attention if you're using oils and these conditions are flaring. It's probably a good idea to step away from them in your products. And in the case of seborrheic dermatitis or tinea versicolor, generally speaking, it is the advice given that you avoid oils in your skincare products for the express purpose of not making Malassezia too comfortable. So, you know, that's really an area where oils can cause you some issue if you have those skin conditions. But otherwise, like I said, you know, it does seem to have some beneficial components to it, but I can't really tell you guys much more than the lab-based studies on the eye tissue. And so at this point, it's very preliminary, and we just need more studies before we can start really speaking about the merits of this oil. But I do enjoy the Crave Beauty Great Barrier Relief. That's probably the only product with Tamanu oil in it, though, that I've ever used or played around with. So I don't have much personal experience using Tamanu oil, but comment below, those of you guys who do use it in your skincare routine, like, how have you been using it and what sort of, you know, effects have you seen? I would love to know. I hope this video was helpful to you guys. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.